Am I the only one who has had enough of Battle Royale games? They've been around for years now, and it seems that every gaming company out there wants to cash in on the cash cow of free-to-play Battle Royale titles with the microtransaction model. So this is a bit outside what I'd normally do on YouTube, but I've discussed this while streaming on Twitch recently, and I just wanted to get this off my chest and see what your guys' opinions are on the matter. So to properly understand this phenomenon, we need a little bit of Battle Royale history. Now you might be asking yourself, why are they even called Battle Royale games for a start? And it just so happens I have the answer. So way back in 2000, a Japanese film released called Battle Royale, based on a novel that was written in 1999. If you haven't seen this film, I really recommend it actually. It's definitely a bit of a cult classic now, but basically it revolves around a class of Japanese students whose teacher gets fed up of them messing about at school and not doing their work. So what do they do with them? They take them to a deserted island, strap bomb collars around their necks, give them a weapon each ranging from like Uzis to frying pans, and let them have at it. Yes, it's a film about Japanese school kids killing each other last man standing style. So spin on to 2012 and we have the first release of The Hunger Games, a film that was largely inspired by Battle Royale, but it was a bit more PG-13 and, it successfully brought the idea to Western audiences in a much bigger way. So shortly after that, Minecraft introduced a mode called Hunger Games, inspired by the films, where you spawned next to a cache of gear and then you had to scavenge and survive. The same year, the Arma 2 mod DayZ was born, but this was more about scavenging and surviving and less about player interaction. There was a PvP element to it, but the maps were so big and the players so few, which led to a lack of action most of the time. And then along comes Brendan Green, known by his online alias Player Unknown. His Battle Royale mod for Arma 2 and DayZ first released in 2013. He then updated this mode for Arma 3 when the DayZ team opted to release their game as a standalone game before he eventually became the creative developer at Bluehole of a standalone game representing his vision of the Battle Royale genre, which would later be released as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds in 2017. Now this game is what most people regard to be the first true standalone Battle Royale game, and this was the beginning of standalone Battle Royale titles. The same year PUBG released, Epic Games were also releasing their game called Fortnite, a cooperative survival game, and seeing PUBG's success, realised that they could do something similar, which led them to create Fortnite Battle Royale, a more child-friendly version of PUBG's Battle Royale formula. Both of these games went on to see insane player counts, and then everybody else wanted a piece of the pie. Activision's Call of Duty offering for 2018, Black Ops 4, had the Blackout game mode, whilst Battlefield 5 had Firestorm. Other established games added Battle Royale-inspired game modes in updates, such as Grand Theft Auto Online, Paladins, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And then, of course, more recently we've had Apex Legends from EA in 2019, which exceeded 50 million player accounts within a month, and then Call of Duty Warzone from Activision this year, which also had over 50 million players within a month. Most recently, of course, we've been trying the beta of Hyperscape, which is Ubisoft's offering, and currently the game you're watching in the background. So, that's a lot of Battle Royale games. Now, this isn't the first time a mod has turned into a standalone game. Just look at Dota, which was originally a mod for Warcraft 3 called Defense of the Ancients. That spawned a new genre which we call MOBA games these days, and from it, the beast that is League of Legends. But we didn't see the same thing happening we do now. EA, Activision, and Ubisoft weren't all suddenly creating MOBA games and trying to get in on the action. So why is this happening with Battle Royale games? I truly believe that game studios should stick to what they're good at, and a really good example of this are CD Projekt Red. They're insane at creating narrative-driven open-world RPGs, and so that's what they're sticking with. Rockstar are awesome at creating games like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, and they just stick with that. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about game development and the relationships between developer and publisher, but I've always thought that it works like this. A developer has a great idea for a game or a vision that they believe in and they have a passion for. They approach the publisher, essentially the man with the money, with the idea, and then the publisher either grants them the funding to start creating the game or they deny it. But with all these new Battle Royale games releasing, it feels more like it's the other way around. Like the publishers are thinking, well, we don't have a Battle Royale title yet, oh no, we're missing out. You there, developer, get to work, bring me back ideas for a Battle Royale game. Almost as if they're forcing out these titles, you know? Now, I'm not saying I hate Battle Royale games or that I don't find them entertaining to a certain degree, and I can certainly understand why a lot of people play them. First off, they're free to play, so that will really appeal to children especially whose parents don't want to shell out on another $60 game for them. Dad, can I play this game? It's free. Sure, go right ahead, son. Secondly, they're great for playing with your friends and are very teamwork oriented, so they're a social experience as well. They're also pretty competitive, and when you die in a Battle Royale game, it actually has meaning. You're not going to just respawn like you would in a regular FPS multiplayer game. Now that being said, I also feel like if you've played one, you've played them all. Now it would be unfair to say that every Battle Royale game is identical, they're not. Take Hyperscape for example here. There's a big parkour element to this, it has a futuristic aesthetic to it, you've got special abilities you can drop as opposed to just having weapons. The way the play space closes in is a bit different. Instead of encroaching circle, you have buildings toward the edge of the map that simply disappear. In Apex, you select a specific character, and they each have their own abilities. For me, I would say I enjoy Call of Duty Warzone the most, simply because I like the modern warfare setting, I'm familiar with it, there's vehicles, etc., and I'm not keen on the sheer amount of mobility you have in games like Hyperscape or Apex. But at the end of the day, they all share so many similarities. You spawn in as a squad or as a solo, you have to scavenge your way to new abilities and weapons, the map shrinks over time, if you die you lose, if you're the last one alive, you win. They're all just slightly different takes on the exact same formula to me. Now you could critique what I'm saying here and say, okay Ghost, if you're going to look at it that way, then every FPS game ever made are all the same, because they all have TDM in them. But I feel a much greater sense of identity when I play regular shooters. Take Battlefield for example. To me, the game is less about the objective per se, and more about the feeling of a big battlefield with lots of vehicles and skillful weapons to use. CSGO is about accuracy, reaction times, having an advantageous position. You know, I don't think anybody could say that Rush in Battlefield and Defuse in CSGO have anything in common outside of the fact that they're both first-person shooters and you have to plant bombs on two objectives. They feel completely different to play. However, Battle Royale games are so similar that back when Fortnite's Battle Royale mode originally released shortly after PUBG, PUBG actually filed a lawsuit against Epic Games for copyright infringement, but ultimately that was dropped since the PUBG mode and everything that came before that were all inspired by a Japanese film at the end of the day, and therefore it would be unlikely that they would have won the lawsuit. I think I would be enjoying Battle Royale games a lot more if they didn't all release at once. You know, if somebody brought one out every now and again just to revisit the genre and invigorate it a bit, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember these games, maybe the tech has changed and the graphics are amazing now, let's do this, I'm up for playing one of these. But the market has just been so saturated with them recently that as soon as I hear about a new one being announced, I find myself breathing a sigh of despair before I even know what it's about. Like, nothing gets me less excited right now than a Battle Royale game. So I really want to know what you guys think about this. Where do you stand? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you indifferent? I certainly know lots of people who only play, you know, some certain Battle Royale game and that's it. Personally, I miss a lot of the old genres that I enjoyed as a kid, like real-time strategies. Unfortunately, they seem to have just gone out of fashion really after StarCraft 2, but hey, maybe they'll make a comeback one day. Thank you for listening to me ramble on, guys. Like I said before, this is a bit of an unusual one for me, but sometimes, you know, when I just have to say my piece, I just gotta hop on YouTube and do it. But if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe. I normally cover Battlefield 4 and Star Citizen, and I also stream a lot of Battlefield 4 over on Twitch TV. So if you're interested in hopping over there and interacting and asking me questions and all that good stuff, then feel free to check that out. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you guys all in the next video.